Hello, and welcome to Postcards from Palisade, the podcast that's all about the people and places that make this slice of Western Colorado wonderful. I'm your host, Lisa McNamara. Today, I'm talking with Nelly Garcia, the Executive Director of La Plaza, formerly known as Child Migrant Services or the Hospitality Center. Keep listening to learn about the services La Plaza offers, the historic movement that's behind their current reorganization, and how you can get involved. Nelly shares her backstory, or as she reminds me, pieces of her story, that led to her being named the first Latina immigrant executive director for the organization. Nelly will leave you feeling inspired by her incredible passion for her work and for the community that she helps support. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today.
I'm Nelly Garcia. I am the new director for Child Migrant Services. We are changing our name. Our new name is La Plaza. I started as the director in August of 2021, so I've been here for about a year and a half. And it's been a very nice experience to be a Latina immigrant director. It's the first time that I'm a director. I worked in the school district previous to this job.
The name change from Child Migrant Services to La Plaza. Can you talk a little bit about why that happened or when that happened?
Yeah, a year ago and a half when I joined, as I was sharing my personal story and where I come from, and looking at the population that we serve about 100% migrant immigrant Latinos. We noticed that our name was Child Migrant Services. And as I was going out there introducing myself, even though I've been here for a long time in the area, I've been working here for over 10 years, I think. I've been in different positions, different organizations. So some of the community knows me from different organizations, but they were getting to know me as a director of Child Migrant Services. But as I was going out there and introducing myself, letting them know this is my new role, I started to realize that they knew us with different names. There isn't a really good translation for Child and Migrant Services. If you translate it, sounds like Servicios para Niños y sus Familias Migrantes, which is really not the great translation. It's a long translation. It's really kind of a definition instead of a little translation. So they would call us El Centro, they will call us El Centro Migrante, they will call us El Centro de Inmigración, they will call us La Casita, they will call us La Misión, and then the names go on and on and on and on. So I shared that with the board and said, have you noticed that we don't have a name that it's the name in English and Spanish that really represents what we do and then that our community recognizes as their own. And then I started to get some other calls saying, I'd like to donate to the children. And we would like to, give this to the children. And we work with children and their families. Previous in the history of Child Migrant Services, I think late 70s or 80s, we just to have a child care. But no, we don't no longer do that. And we don't do any direct service with childcare. But our name was still Child and Migrant Services. So we realized the different understandings that our community had as far as what we do that were directly connected to our name. And we decided to say, let's make the change. Let's find a name that really represents what we want to do, our new vision and mission, and that our community is happy with. So we started to think about the name that was well known, Centro. And there are so many centros. There's Centro de Familia. There are so many community resource centers. And we didn't want to be another Centro. We didn't. But then when we thought about the idea of Centro and what the center of the city means, and when you think about where we come from, what is the center of our state or the center of our hometowns, you think of plazas. You think of the plaza that is next to the church, that is next to the city council, city hall, and the center that really brings everything together. The resources, the food, the community, the culture, the language, the family, the reunion, the support. And we thought, well, why not the plaza? It's again, meaning of everybody coming together, a gathering place where people get or reach their needs. And we said, okay, let's try it out. We came up with the name and then asked our community, do you like this name? First, we did the kind of survey. How do you know us? What is our name, basically? And then we said, they gave us different names, and then we said, what do you think about this name? And they liked it. They said yes. And then the question was, what do you think when you hear La Plaza? And everybody said, my hometown. It reminds me of home. It reminds me of where I come from. And this is really, the Child Migrant Services is being known for a home far away from home. And when they said, it reminds me of home, that was exactly the meaning that we wanted to get to. A place where they gather and they feel like home. Awesome. And that's how we come up with La Plaza. That's a long story.
No, but it makes complete sense, because it really is a center of so many communities in Central America. Like, everything is built around, and that's the oldest part of the city, and the place where all the festivals happen, everybody gathers.
And when you think of Palisade, even though we're so far away, really we, as location-wise, we are the center of Palisade. And when we think about all the orchards going around us and all the people coming together here, we are the center. And there isn't any other organization that does the work that we do or is connected in the way that we're trying to connect with our community. So the meaning it's there, and we wanted to find like a perfect word. We didn't want to have like a long sentence that was again confusing and that we're not going to remember. So we're going to be rebranding April 19th, which is we're going to have an open house, and we're excited, and we finally have a new name.
Can you talk a little bit about the services that La Plaza provides?
Our name comes from our new strategic plan, and it comes from changing our mission and vision. We are here to serve, empower, and cultivate the well-being of migrant and immigrant agricultural workers and their families in the Grand Valley. Previously, some of our history has been supporting only migrant seasonal workers. Again, from the background that I come from as an immigrant and growing here in the Valley, there isn't any other organization that can support immigrants. As I came to this position, I realized we had a great opportunity. And we decided to go towards that opportunity, to expand our services to not only migrant seasonal, but also the immigrant community that stays here. We do have a lot of immigrant community that are seasonal agricultural workers, that they stay here year round. But sometimes those are the people who are usually hiding from everything else. They are working and taking care of their families, and that's all. They're not very involved with the community, and those are like the population that are not getting the resources that they need for many factors, right? And we can go on, so talk about why. But the fact is that they're not getting the services, and that's why we wanted to get this opportunity to serve them in a different way. When you think about migration, you're going to think of somebody coming to an area, looking for work will be the first thing that they do, then engaging their families, their children to education. And then what's next, right? It's going to take them about 5 years to settle in a place, to learn about the systems. And we were helping only the community that were here for 5-6 months out of the year and going back. But what about those people that are needing a little bit more support to get settled, to feel part of the community? So now we're opening up the services and how those services look like for everybody in the community that needs our support.
I know a lot about, or I don't know a lot about, I Like one of the things that you do are like hot meals, support for like translation services. It seems like there's such a long list of things.
It's hard to not talk about the past because of so
Yeah.
many new things that we're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
and how the direction that we're taking. We are changing from being a basic resource, community resource center, to a place where they find more than just the basics, when they find empowerment, when they learn how to feel part of the community, when they learn how to become leaders, when they learn how to use their voice to find representation. So in the past, we would only do hot meals and connections to maybe healthcare, finding them a way to getting them to a doctor. And we have a housing program for people coming seasonally that would get a house to live in during their time here. And then I think it was clothing. We would get clothing donated from different resources, churches or schools or even individuals. We would pass that on. So those are, when you think of basics, that's the basic.
Right.
Your health, your housing, your food.
Right.
We would have like a pantry that they would have access to. So moving from that, what else the community needs? So one big piece is like making sure they feel part of our community. So community engagement, how does that look like in our community? Well, them coming and telling us, I need this. And this is different than what we offered, you know. Maybe in the way of education. I need to learn why my child is getting this information, you know. So making those bridges, connecting the bridges of understanding of the systems. Maybe their education, obviously we know that the education system is different from where they're coming. How does that work here? Like helping them understand that. We want to move towards more empowerment, teaching them skills. We want to do English classes. We want to implement other higher, like adult education. There is a program through the consulate called Plazas. Yeah, Plazas. And this gives them an opportunity to like finish middle school or finish high school in order to move towards the GED. So we want to open it up to more educational. We are growing our connections with the community. We collaborate with the community food bank. We want to make sure that we have what they need, but they are connecting to the resources. So not only giving them a referral, but making sure that the community resources are ready for them. Do they have Spanish speakers? And how do we support that too? Well, how do we support them to find what they need to serve the community that we are referring to them? You know, so we're helping them figure it out how that looks like. We are keeping the hot meals. I think hot meals is a big part of social work. Because, again, we're still working with people that come to a housing and sometimes are isolated. They want to socialize with people. But we want to make sure that it's in an interaction that it's useful for them. So we'll continue to do meal nights, but we're turning them into resource nights. So we want to make sure that every time that they come, sit down and eat, they also have the opportunity to talk to a resource that is out there in the community that they don't know about. And that the resource are able to reach the community that they are targeting or wanting to get more resources to. So it's a two-way road that we are trying to address. Again, building the bridges. We are actually trying this in a new, different way, which is a membership style. When you think of a membership, you think of Sam's membership, right? You go pay a fee and then you get what you need. So it is very similar to this. And it comes from the idea of Cesar Chavez movement. Are you familiar with Cesar Chavez? He was an individual who grew in California, and he was coming from a family of migrant agricultural workers, seasonal workers. And even though he was able to go towards education, achieve, I think he was able to graduate and find a good job, he realized that agricultural workers had, at that time, had a really hard time. So we're talking about the times where they didn't have breaks, they were living in a really tiny household, a family of 5 or 6. They didn't have safe working conditions. They didn't have access to bathrooms. And he was the person who changed all of this. And he was able to do it by doing a movement of membership style. He said, we're going to create a union. And if you want to be part of the union, you're going to have to pay a fee. So when you think of people that are low income and you're asking them for a fee, maybe you're going to say like, how can you ask them for something like this? But basically what he was saying, I'm going to give you a chance to be part of this movement. How do you feel when you buy something and you know you're paying for it and you work for it? So it has much value to it. You really appreciate it and you feel like you are part of it. Absolutely. So that's what he was creating. He was creating a sense of belonging in his own organization. They were part of the movement because they funded the movement. And due to this movement, they were able to have worker rights. And that's the same idea that we want to try to get. We are going to be asking for a donation. It's like $10 per member. But by saying you are a member, you have responsibilities and you have benefits. So everything, all our resources and services that we are going to be providing, it's based on a membership. They're going to come in, they're going to register, we're going to give them a card, and we're going to call them members, not clients. They're not going to be clients anymore. They're going to be members. The main goal, again, is that one day they'll be our board of directors. That one day they'll be our voice as far as what are the resources that they need and what are the programs that they need. So we work towards an immigrant-led organization.
You're so inspirational when you talk about food. No, but absolutely giving people ownership and giving them the ability to kind of feel like they're contributing and they're not just taking services, they're part of something. I can see like that's huge and that's wonderful.
It's changes, sometimes change scares people, and it's going to be hard to explain because when you think of something new, they're going to be thinking of how much do I have to give, because they have given so much. When you think of their stories, when you think of everything they have to go through, they're already given too much. And we don't want to ask for something that they can give. We want to ask for something that it's going to really empower. It's going to really show them that we care about them and that this organization wants to hear from them. We're not only here to serve them, but we're here to hear them, to really understand where they're coming from and supporting them. Probably say it's so far away from city, but we want to create those bridges. We want them to feel part of our community, not only people that come here for a couple of months, but people that really feel part of us, part of our decision making. How many decisions are taken without really considering their benefit or not their benefit. And this is a time where we have to raise those voices. We need to hear those voices. It's going to be hard and it's going to be a process, but I think we have a really set vision that it's going to, once we reach it, it's going to feel good because it's going to be a new organization and it's going to be new community and you're going to see the connections built.
So you're doing so much and you don't have a huge staff, right?
No. So we are building our staff. We just hire a new office administrator. Coming up, we're gonna have our new community navigator, and our new staff, it's very intentional. We are creating the positions in order to be able to implement the programs, services that we want to try this year. So the community navigator is really a case manager. We never had that before. It would only be somebody wearing different hats of outreach and somebody that was here taking care of the building. So we realized that in order for us to be able to support the community in the way we want to support them, we had to spend on staff and open and grow it. So it was a change for us to say, okay, so now we're going to have full-time people? Yes, we are going to have full-time people because we really need it. One or two people cannot make everything that we want to do. It won't be possible. we've been struggling so far already because we have workers already coming and we're barely getting the membership models started. And we're not there yet, and they're already here. So we have to hurry. We have to make sure we have the stuff needed. So we'll have our new navigator starting April 10th. And then our next hire will be a community outreach person, which is going to be somebody going to out in the community to reach out to them, tell them about our changes, tell them about the services that we are going to be having. So just letting them know everything that is going on and giving them an opportunity to register, sign up for our services out there. So that's going to be a part-time position for this season.
I was going to ask you about kind of the history of the organization, but I wonder if that's even, since you're changing so much and you're so forward-facing right now, I don't even know, like, is that something you would even really want to talk about right now?
I know who built the organization, 3 farm owners, ladies. They decided to do something for the community, and really CMS started as the hospitality center. It was a trailer going around with food, with clothing to find the farm workers during that time that needed some support and connections to the basic resources. And it stayed like that for a long time, long time.
And that was in like the 50s or
1956. And
like 50 plus years.
Yeah, and I think there was a period of growth, like early 2000s maybe, where CMS started to do English classes. That's where our tamales program started as a way of fundraising for the resources that were needed. And then I have a gap in information, and then that's when I joined. Later on, when I joined, I didn't have the chance to talk to previous directors, and everything that I'm doing, it's basically new. We survived for a year that we really used to gather the information to start making changes this year and start implementing some of the changes. We know that we're gonna keep growing, we're gonna keep learning and changing every year. We understand that like the next 5 years, it's a learning time for us to see exactly what is if our strategic plan worked the way that we wanted and if it's meeting the goals that we set at that time. And yeah, I think it's good to remember the people, give them the credit. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Otherwise, people wouldn't be receiving the services that they've been receiving for so many years. And we have some of the families still around, the Talbot's family, that it's one of the very well-known in the community, and they're still contributing and they're supporting not only the people that they bring, the people that they hire every year, but also they're part of our board, they're part of this changes happening. And just knowing that we have their support, it's something that we really appreciate and value.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the most useful way that people can help?
Well, the first one would be donate. We are funded through grants and individual donors. 60 to 80% of our funding comes from individual donors, which is huge compared to other organizations. We have a really good donor base. And this is the way that we are able to provide the services, create new programs, and grow. Without our individual donors, I think it will be pretty hard. And we want to grow it. We want to make sure that the whole entire valley knows what we do. And I know that not everybody knows. And this is our work to make sure that they do. Make sure that they know that we are here, either if they need us or if they know somebody that needs us. Donations are a great way to support our programs. If they want to donate, if they want to tell us, like, I want my money to go directly to this program, that's something that we can do, or just general operations. The second one, if people want to come and volunteer, we're always in need of volunteers. With the resource night, serving the meals, that takes a lot of power and energy and everything. So if people want to come and help us serve the meals, set up, clean up, and that's something that we could use. We also have special events. We have a annual concert that is our biggest fundraiser. Put it in your calendar, September 9th. We're going to have our concert. We bring Comando. It's a salsa band coming from Boulder. And it's a night of dancing and just having fun. Really enjoying our food. We sell our famous tamales. And everybody just get to enjoy the music, enjoy the culture. And again, that's a way that we collect a lot of our income. That's our bigger fundraiser. We also need a lot of volunteers for that.
How do people sign up to be volunteers?
As another thing that we are creating are procedures. We want to make sure that when you come in and ask, we want to know why are you interested in helping. Do you know a little bit of Spanish and want to practice more? We want to pledge you to do something where you're actually going to have the connection to the community and you're going to get to do that. So we're starting a new process where you would have to fill out an application, and from that application we would learn where is it that you would like to help, and then we'll give you the options. So that form has like different options, and then we'll go from there. We'll let you know what are the opportunities to help. We'll arrange schedules, and that's going to be coming up on our new website. So we're going to have our new website that really shows all the changes that we're implementing.
Is that going to be rolled out in coordination with the open house?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. April 19th, we'll be able to look at our new website, and also, a new name, new email, new Facebook. So
that's so exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of work, but
yeah.
Stuff. So you mentioned the tamales, and I know that's something, even when I first moved here, I kept hearing rumors about, you gotta get the tamales. So what's the best way for people to actually order tamales, and how did y'all start offering that as like a fundraiser?
I think tamales, it's very cultural. Whenever even as a family, whenever you have a need, you're going to think of, let's make tamales and sell tamales. Mm-hmm. And that, I think it came from a group of people that used to be teachers here, that they saw a need for making a little bit more money to bring into the organization. And they saw they had the skill. Making tamales takes skill.
Yeah, so
and a lot of effort. This person decided that he was going to start making tamales and going to start selling tamales. And ever since, we do it as a fundraiser. And I think everybody knows us because of our tamales. It's really interesting. I think the first thing that I heard when I joined as the ED was like, are you going to make the concert? And do you have tamales? Those were the first things that people asked me. And so we have tamales available. Right now we are getting orders through our website. So in the website you are able to order and pick the kind that you have. Obviously we don't have, you would see that it won't be in stock. But if they're in stock, you're able to pick from pork, chicken, and vegetarian. I don't think there's anybody in town that makes vegetarian tamales. Mm-hmm. Literally vegetarian tamales. All the ingredients are veggie friendly.
Like no lard or anything like
no.
that.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. And they're delicious. Yeah, I just have to say that. They're delicious. So we have them for sale, $25 a dozen, and you can order through our website, and that's also going to be in our new website.
Awesome. I'm glad that wasn't my first question then.
Thank you.
That's so typical.
I appreciate it.
But we had to get her out that. My stomach just growled when you were talking about it too. Another thing that I think a lot of people ask about or maybe aren't as clear on is the thrift shop next door. And that isn't technically really part of this organization anymore, is it? It's
not. I think it used to be. And I'm not sure, to be honest, when the transition happened. They are their own organization. However, since they are connected to our building and they're also known to support people, migrant community. So it's another great resource to have next to us. Mm-hmm. They provide clothing, and whenever they're closed, then we would try to support them with some referrals. But basically, it's a great place for them to find jackets, boots. When they come, the first group that comes around, and I'm talking migrant seasonal workers, usually H-2A visa holders, they come around January, and that's a very cold time and very unpredictable time that we really don't know if it's going to be sunny or is it going to be raining or is it going to be snowing, and they don't come ready for that. And you would say, if they're coming every year, why they don't bring their own jackets? I think it's about also the resources. They pay for their own transportation. They get reimbursed, but in the meantime, they don't have a lot of the resources. So the thrift store really supports in that way. And also the families that are around here. Again, we are super far away from everything. So having a thrift store really supports our mission.
What's one thing that you wish that people knew about the community that comes here to work, whether it's a migrant or like a permanent immigrant? Like what's one thing that you think is misunderstood that you just wish everybody knew?
So many things. I don't think I have just this one
top three.
Specific top three. So we're not here like for a couple hours. I think the first one I already mentioned, and I can't remember where I read this, or maybe I'm just talking about my own personal experience. Yeah, let me speak out of experience. I would say that it really took us meaning my family, it really took us about 4 to 5 years to feel comfortable here, to feel welcome, to feel that we knew a little bit about the system, education system, and also in the financial part, to feel that we started to feel better about our finances, more secure in that way, not really because we were greedy or something, like whenever and again, the reason why we migrate and the idea of migration, that we forget or maybe we don't acknowledge that migration, it's natural. And because it's natural, it shouldn't be judged. It shouldn't be attacked. It shouldn't be seen as something unusual. That it should be something that is respected. Something that is admired. Because people leave their hometown, the place of birth, not because they want to. Not because they are willing to leave everything behind. They do it because they want a better life. And that's just such a human thing.
Yeah.
Everything that we do for us, for our families, it's because we want to give a better life to our next generation. And it doesn't matter what it takes. It doesn't matter if it's leaving everything, risking everything, putting your life at danger. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be a better place. You're still going to risk it to have a better life. And when we think about now, and the reason why people are migrating, why people are going or leaving, it's because they're not safe. And that's super sad. And we don't recognize that. We only think of, you're coming over here and you're taking my work and you're taking this away from me. And not understanding that it's not because we want to. It's a sacrifice that we have to do. I didn't want to learn a second language. I struggle learning a second language. I still struggle understanding the learning. It never stops. It's a new word. It's something new every single day. And who wants to do that? No one. And you are put in that space as a child, as babies. I have so many friends who came here when they were babies. Didn't get to choose. Again, it doesn't mean that you're going to blame the people that took that decision for you, because they wanted the best for you. They were only thinking of the best of your interest. So those are the things that I wish people think when they're thinking of a stranger next to their home, or somebody at the store that looks different than you, or somebody that is driving and they have a different color scheme. We don't think of those things. We don't make it personal. I hope that people makes it personal. I wish that people makes it personal. Mm-hmm. I wish that they would be wearing their shoes for at least a day. Because, again, coming to a place that you don't know, and some of the people are blessed enough to have families, some of them are not. Mm-hmm. Some of them come into cities that they've never been into, that they don't know anybody. And imagine that. Right. Imagine walking into that space, not knowing the language, not having a job, mm-hmm. not a place to live. And those are things that we have to survive. And that's migration. Mm-hmm. It's a real thing and should be natural. Should be something that instead of saying, I don't know you, we should say, I welcome you. How can I support you?
I mean, people forget that a huge percent of their ancestors and everything did exactly the same thing. Yeah. And, if they weren't coming here from somewhere else, they were displacing somebody else. And, throughout our history, people have moved, and that's never going to stop. It's just going to continue.
No, it won't stop. But I think we could learn from it. Yeah. And we could embrace it. Mm-hmm. And we could create better systems. Currently, our immigration system, it's so broken and old-fashioned, and just creates more obstacles to people that are trying to do better. And the answer is no, you can't. And it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard to think that we can do better. I think we can. Yeah. As a humanity, we have so much to learn, so much to change. I know it takes time. I know it takes changing mindsets. It takes a lot of courage to say, wow, I don't think we're doing that right. Mm-hmm. To be accountable for the mistakes that we have done in the past. But we can change. It's just a matter of understanding that at the end of the day, we're humans and we need to just support each other, mm-hmm. and love each other, mm-hmm. and accept each other instead of seeing differences among us.
Mm-hmm. That's just beautifully said. How many people do you usually serve? What's the size of the population that you're working with?
Last year, we served between 400 and 500. And that could be maybe repetitive members from different years. Mm-hmm. I believe there is about 300 visas that are given out every year, or that come to this area every year. So that's around the population that we try to reach. Mm-hmm. If we think about just the immigrants settle here, we're thinking about more than that. Mm-hmm. I believe we are 23% of Latino population in Grand Valley, based from last census. Mm-hmm. That it was 2 years ago. So we are growing pretty fast. Mm-hmm. Definitely we're next to other counties with higher population that are much smaller and that are growing even faster. Mm-hmm. That are creating the services that the community needs. And we sometimes are staying behind. So it's really interesting to see the number of people that comes in, the number of people that are out there, and the number of people that we could be reaching.
How did you get into this as a career? What made you want to do this?
So I came to the United States when I was 12. And obviously had to learn the language. I came when I think the school district was just starting with creating the English as a second language program. I remember we used to live in Riverside, and I would have to take a bus from Riverside all the way to Grand Mesa Middle School, which is like Clifton area. And then community started to grow. And obviously I had to go through the system. I started in middle school, then high school, then college. And I started to see the needs in our community, how we were not able to connect to some of the resources that were granted for other people, and how language played a big role in it. So even though I started to see that, I wanted to be an architect. And I wanted to build houses, and I wanted to make houses. But then I didn't have the resources to go to architecture school. So I started in Spanish as a Spanish major. People would ask me, so you know Spanish, but you're taking Spanish as your major? And I was like, yeah, just like English can be a major. And I learned so much, I learned about, in my transition as a child, I lost a lot of my education, the literature, the history that I didn't learn because I was busy learning a second language. And that was the time and the privilege that I had to be able to go to school and learn that at that time. And my grammar, I didn't know the grammar, the rules in grammar. It was really hard to say, like, I don't know when an accent goes, or I don't know what kind of word this is. So I had the opportunity to learn that at that time, but that was also the connection that I got to the community. And that's when I started to get more involved in community. The first time that I got super involved was I became part of youth group in high school. And that group decided to do an event. We wanted to celebrate the Mexican independence, and we were able to do like a community event, bringing everybody together. And we did it on Riverside. I think we closed off some roads. We brought a band, vendors, and we did it like a big festival. That's when kind of I learned I want to be involved in the community. I want to be able to connect with the community and just be around. So as I graduated from college, I started to get more involved. I started to join community organizations that were involved with social work, with immigration reform. And I joined organizations, joined boards. Then later, that's when I found the job with the school district. And it was with the migrant education program. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Then I learned that I wasn't like really far away from what I really wanted to do. In that program, I went back and realized that I did my community service in that program. And then like years later, I was working for that program. And it was really nice to remind myself, this is what I want to do. I want to make sure that I connect with community, that I can empower, that I can help, that I can help connect and provide resources. And that was basically my role, to find community that were eligible for the program and connect them to the program. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice because the program is connected to 20 school districts around us. So they cover Western Slope. And we got to travel. We got to go different places. We got to go to Delta, to Eagle, to Steamboat, like different areas. And that was really, really nice to be able to do. Not only learn from your community, but learn from different communities and people growing in different other communities. Then I got this opportunity. I worked here 2 years ago as an outreach person first, but it was for about a month, summertime. And I learned a little bit. I volunteered also previously to that. But volunteering and working is different than being the leader.
Yeah.
And when the position opened up, I wanted a bigger challenge. I thought I was ready for a bigger challenge and applied, and I think I'm here because of the experience, because of my background and what I can give to this organization.
What's a typical day like?
This year is changing. Last year we were short staffed and it was hard. I was new in my position and we were only 2. And we were serving about 300 people. The first meal that we had last summer, we had about 100 in a day. And there were only 2 of us. So it was really hard. Yeah. Last year, and I was learning everything that the community was needing, everything that we were supposed to do as an organization. We were working on our strategic plan. We were working on so many things. So it was really hands-on last year, very hands-on. I was helping serve meals. I was organizing the whole meal, the meals, the resources. So I was taking a lot of roles. And the day was really, really hard. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. But now it's different. As we start to have a bigger staff, I am now finally able to take my ED role, which is another learning curve for me. And I am enjoying it. A day, it's right now planning our rebranding event, all the pieces that we need to get together for that to happen, working in programming, what are the resources that we want to provide this summer, how a calendar looks like, and connecting to resources in the community, making that connection. In order for them to come here, I have to do more work and connect to them. Mm-hmm. They're going to be busy, and sometimes they're not going to connect to me. So I have to do that part, connections. So a lot of meetings, trainings, it's important. This is a time where I really needed to learn the skills that I need to be able to do my work. So I am taking a class. I try to benefit from different trainings that are available out there, and also talking to other organizations that I can learn from. So yeah, a day it's being in the computer, organizing, planning, and connecting to community. And then my other part is supporting my staff, supporting my new office admin. Right now it's only 2 of us again, but I know that in a week we'll be 3, which that's going to feel great. It'll continue to be the challenge for me to learn everything that I need in order to be a good leader.
When you do get a day off, how do you enjoy it?
I haven't had a day off.
If you do get a day off.
I hope that I get at least half day off. I already have plans for that. I have, different things that I need to do in my personal life that I need to take care of. And that's really the time that I have. I've been trying to do a little bit more self-care. Last year, I didn't do good in self-care. It's hard. It was hard. I was working really long hours. I would work here and then take a break for dinner and keep working. And I realized that was not going to be sustainable for me. And not a model for the people that I'm working with, because I care about them too. And if they see me working, they'll continue to work. And I don't want that. I want them to know that there are limits to the work, that we cannot take care of the community if we don't take care of ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's one rule that we have to remember as service providers. Mm-hmm. You really can't do that. You have to take care of yourself. Mentally, your health, spiritually, because it can be really sometimes hard when people don't understand the changes. They can have a different perspective, and sometimes that perspective, they're not going to tell you in a beautiful way. Mm-hmm. And I am the one receiving those negative comments, which I understand. It's about information, giving information and why we're going that route. So those days I disconnect. I just try to disconnect. Mm-hmm. I literally leave my phone in the bedroom. I turn it off, and then even just spending time with my husband, spending time with my mom, my sister, my dad that are here locally, just even taking them out to eat or spending dinner with them, spending the day shopping, literally trying to disconnect from the daily work. That's like my best therapy.
What's your favorite thing about the community in this area?
Favorite thing? I don't know if it's a thing. or what you would classify as a thing.
I don't know, like the view.
Okay. That's easier. That's easier. Thank you.
Oscar.
Yeah, I love the valley. I am in love with the valley. Every time people ask me, would you go live somewhere? I say no. And it's, I come from Mexico City, a huge city. Huge city. And when people tell me, you don't want to go back to a huge city, I say no. I've been here for such a long time. And it really took me long to be able to say, this is my home. This is my home too. It took me a long time to feel welcome, to feel part of the community. And I don't want that to happen to other people. That's what I do. That's the reason why I do everything I do. I don't want the same feeling to go to our new people, because I know what my family and I went through. And I think that's why I think it's so hard to think of another change again.
Sure.
To say, oh no, I'm gonna go to another place. It's not like language. When you learn a second language, you are able to learn many more. It doesn't work like that. It's different. And yeah, I love Grand Junction. I love the mountains. I love the blue skies. I don't think I was able to see like this clear blue sky in the city, or the beautiful stars at night, the fresh air. I didn't see that. I remember the city in a different way. I remember the city thinking of my family, thinking of my cousins, uncles, aunts, my grandma, That's what I remember. I don't remember the city as a place. I remember city as the people in there, people there. But it is different here. I've been here for 23 years. And I think of Grand Junction as the place that I want to live and I want to stay at, but also like my home. Yeah, and again, when people ask me, would you like to go move somewhere, I would say no. But also because I miss the mountains. Every time I get to travel, even though I've been to such beautiful places, I miss the mountains. Those beautiful skies when the sun is going down and you see the orange and you see the teal and the sky and the white and all of those beautiful colors. You don't see that any other place.
No, I love that so much.
Yeah.
And that moment when you catch it, when everything has that beautiful pink light on it, it's just so special.
And I think I'm so, where my office is, you can see all the mountains, but when I come in, obviously I come in the morning, but then I literally go home at the time that the sun is going down, and it's a reminder, go home, Nelly. But it gives me the chance to see that, to see the beauty of nature, and that we are surrounded. I don't get to go a lot to nature. I don't get to go hiking at the monument. I don't get to go hiking at Mount Garfield or even go to the Mesa. But I know in the times that I've been there, it's like such a big privilege to have so beautiful nature around us and to be able to say that we do take care of it and to be here and feel safe.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for everything that you do for the community and just your passion. It's just awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you for giving me the space to share a little bit about me, share a little bit of La Plaza, and our vision, the changes, the excitement, and basically share a little bit of our community. We're going to have our open house on April 19th. I think we're already starting to advertise our new name, so it's not a secret. We're going to have the open house. Our new website is going to launch in that same day. So our new website is laplazapalisade.org. We're also going to have our new Facebook page, also La Plaza. What else?
What time is open house?
Open house will be from 5 to 7. We're going to have dancers, music, and we're going to have tamales, light refreshment. And yeah, please come enjoy your time here. Our board is going to be here. If you haven't been in the building before, it will be the opportunity to get to know the changes around the building. We've been doing remodelings here and there. Last year, City of Palisade was generous to help us remodel or really change our backyard. So there's a lot going on. So come enjoy yourself, and it's really our time to celebrate all the work that we've been putting into. So much work and so much planning, but I think it'll be a great opportunity to get to know the new plaza.
I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your
Thank
story and everything.
Pieces.
Appreciate it.
If you're interested in being on the show, or if you have ideas for a future show, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at lisa@postcardsfrompalisade.com. The Postcards from Palisade podcast is available on all major podcast distribution platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. Find us and subscribe now so you never miss an episode. We also have a website, postcardsfrompalisade.com, where latest episodes and links to more information are posted. Thanks for listening. With love from Palisade.